Welcome to H4G Games. Today we're going to be rocking a very special game for the Wii U. John, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Alright, we played Bill Cosby's Fatherhood Simulator 2015.
Delightful.
Where you try and come of age.
And what he means by that, oops, sorry about that, is we
this
rocked Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Now, so that's in reference to X-Men,
yes,
right?
Xenoblade Chronicles X-Men
The Awakening.
Wii U. Now this kind of resolves an age-old issue. I loved Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii, and I was always like, wow, that's so beautiful, but I want it in HD. And now we can finally have that.
No, we can kind of have it. It's 720p. What is it? 30 frames a second.
Yeah, 30.
And it's like the semi-chub of HD.
Wii HD.
It still looks better than normal, but it's not to its full glory.
Exactly. So the story of this game, Earth is caught between these two aliens warring just outside the solar system, and they are devastating Earth with Fallout 4.
And the last ship, the Moby Dick, manages to somehow escape.
Actually.
Well, it's a loose translation.
Yeah, I don't know why it was named that. It sort of escapes, and then the people who look like they're from the last Starfighter blow up most of it. But the big Tron Frisbee part crash lands on a planet.
The homeostasis of it all.
Yes. There's a lot of 60% homeostasis.
It's okay, Joel.
That explanation of the story is so all over the place.
I think it's perfect. You start off as a silent protagonist in a pod who discovers that he or she has lost their memories, and they are the remainder of a group that fled Earth after its destruction and pursuit by an unknown alien species.
So it's kind of like Egg.
It is kind of like Egg. It's also a little bit like Fallout, too, because you kind of like wake up.
Oh my gosh, it's not like this is the storyline has ever happened before.
So the story is good, but soon we learn we're not the only invading species on this planet, on Mira.
Yes.
And things quickly go to hell.
Yeah, and then we find out there is an indigenous intelligent life form on there.
They're the radishes.
Yeah, and they should be exterminated with extreme prejudice.
What are they called? The No-Tus?
The Nopon.
Nopons.
Dance of freedom! Tatsu thanks you!
In Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii, you're Shulk. You have a specific protagonist. The protagonist talks in battle and outside of battle. This one is, it's more like you're playing as you. It's a completely...
Sysbuster.
You're a Sysbuster. You're a completely different character. It's a completely new storyline. It's not a sequel. It's just a spiritual successor. It's just another game in the Xeno series.
You get a lot more character creation than I was expecting, and it kind of lends to what I feel is almost a MMO simulator feel. It does have multiplayer, but it feels like you're playing a game where they were like, make a game that's like, it's an MMO.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Suicide Pact.
No, the look
Suicide
of it.
Pact.
So, son of a bitch. Is there a monkey?
Ooh, Batman!
Let's talk a little bit about the graphics. Now, the Wii Xenoblade Chronicles was probably the best, in my opinion, the best
Right, it was like
Wii game.
it was the pinnacle of the Wii.
I would even say it's at least one of the pinnacles of standard definition 3D gaming.
It's beautiful.
Experiences. It was just gorgeous looking. Now, does this live up to that?
I'd say for the most part, there's a few textures, like the skull on the ground that I pointed to, where it's got a few textures that look good, and then like a couple muddy ones. There's a couple of walls and stuff. And then when you're flipping through items, you get the distant level of detail item first. Then like a half second after that, it pops to the full resolution. That doesn't look so great. There's a bit of pop-in, but I mean,
a bit?
the rest of it.
A bit of pop-in? You're running and then a character just pops in front of you and then it's an enemy. You have to attack it and fight it. You didn't know it was there.
On local play as well, not online.
This isn't like you're playing an N64 racing game or like The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and like as you move along, trees pop in the distant
and it's
background.
not like an MMO
This is like
where you're having a whole bunch of data popping in there, different characters moving of their own accord. It's just the CPU characters just showing up instantly as soon as you arrive there.
Yeah.
There were vehicles popping up. There were enemies that would pop up out of nowhere. So that was definitely a problem. However, the view.
The view is great.
Holy crap.
I thought the view looked quite good.
The landscapes were very nice.
Unless you were hopping around, breaking the physics like I was, you don't really see the ugly bits. And I mean, the character designs, I think they worked really well in it as well. They don't look like they're completely like separate.
I don't know. The characters, they looked you called them doll-like.
They looked very doll-like, and I know you mentioned earlier when we were playing that was very kind of anime-ish.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that makes
all
sense.
the guys have like very angry eyebrows.
No,
and
they,
all the
they
women
lift,
have very like vacant looks.
the males lift weights with their eyebrows. They are freaking bulging.
They've got mad eyebrow
Indeed.
games.
Yes.
But they just kind of all look very doll-like in appearance. For example, like the new Lara Croft games, like you can damn near see her pores.
Yeah, you're getting that on Wii U.
And there's lots of motion capture, but with like this, it's like they kind of didn't do motion capture. There's a lot of like gesturing.
Yeah.
Like just like this, hey,
you did a good job.
Thing? And like it's just kind of like very
the
loose,
mouse doesn't always
vague.
match up to the audio.
So there are some issues there.
Now, wait, we need to bring up the fact that you cannot make their boobs larger.
Yeah.
That's just a half a point right
and
there.
And that's why another reason why it'd be a 9 instead of a 10. Like in the Japanese version, you can make the breast size of your female character larger, but because America's gotten so PC these days, you can't say anything to you might offend anyone online.
I originally
got rid of the slider.
Instead of being PC, we need to be double D.
Yeah. So we are stuck with some pathetic, like disgusting C cups.
I thought that when I had first read about that, I was like, oh, okay, well, they'll do it a little bit more like Fallout, where it's some other part of how you design your...
More athletic, a little bit bigger, like those sort of things.
Yeah, which would make perfect sense.
Yes,
but instead, what they did was they just jammed it in the middle and turned it off. So every single human female, except for creepy 13-year-old girl who is in a bathing suit, has the exact same breast size.
Yeah,
on
they're all
planet.
C cups.
One bit of censorship in the game that I was okay with was that Lynn, the
little girl,
13-year-old,
yes.
Yeah.
she has some more scantily clad outfits in the Japanese version.
Yeah, that's
because
kind of creepy.
They're all into that, but in America, that's like really weird and kind of strange. So I'm okay with her not being like naked in her like, armor and having like G-strings and stuff. That's kind of weird for a 13-year-old. So that's cool. But the breast size augmenter
I found
being gone was weird.
The whole time, every time I'd see a female character, they just seemed a touch more cookie cutter because of that.
Yeah.
Because there isn't really like a randomness to them.
Yeah, and generally when I look at females in real life, like they're all basically the same. And I see
they all get paid about 15% less than men.
I just look at,
and they should all just be secretaries.
Well, per your point, John, you look at breast size, and that's how you generally will tell a woman apart.
Tony has a horrible and debilitating form of face blindness. John and Bobby's intolerance and discrimination in making light of his disease is all the more reason we need the cis-busting powers of our protagonist. Reblog on Tumblr!
What about the music? It's getting pretty late here at the H4G Game set.
On the Wii, you were saying.
On the Wii, like, it was gorgeous. Like, it was like a 10 out of 10 in terms of the music. Oh my goodness, very Final Fantasy VI-esque in my opinion. But this one, hit or miss.
Yeah, very hit or miss. If you like Linkin Park,
you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
I feel like it was either Linkin Park.
Yeah,
it was Final Fantasy.
It was very Linkin Park. The fight's so strong.
Yeah, it was
Give it
jump
to
for
me.
love.
It was kind of it was a little bit
whiny.
whiny and all over the place, I think.
Yeah.
It was kind of pandering, I think, to like teenagers.
Well, I think that's
some of it was really
the
good,
main
like
market.
walking around in the
Fair enough.
the landscape. It was nice. And
Yeah.
then, I don't know, hit or miss again.
Now let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. When you start off, you are treated to hours of
shit
cutscenes.
Freaking ton.
Oh my God.
There's a bit of gameplay to be had, but then once you get to New Los Angeles, or NLA as they keep calling it, it's just, it's the worst kind of cutscene hell.
Hey, go over 5 feet that way. Oh wait, another cutscene. Okay, good job. You've watched this cutscene. Go 3 feet that way. Another cutscene.
So once you actually get into the battles, with the battles you have a slew of options you can potentially choose, and you're
Right, you
always
got a little scroll thing on the bottom.
you're kind of always auto attacking, but you get to choose different weapons and you get to choose which main attack you want to use.
Yeah.
And there's a refractory period with all of them, so you can't just spam all the good attacks. Right, the cooldown period is basically what it is. Very, very dynamic. It keeps you on your toes. It kind of has like those B button quick time events.
Right,
in
it's
a
very,
way.
very engaging.
Yeah. You don't control your allies. You just kind of have to hope that they do the right thing, but you can.
They generally do. They
generally do
a
the
good
right
job.
thing. Aside from that, there are a ton of side quests that you can partake on, just like the Wii game. Overall,
There's pod
gameplay,
racing.
There's pod racing.
Now this is pod
racing.
Spinning, that's a good trick.
Now, this is just somewhat of an initial impressions of the game, but if you had to give it a score, what would you give it?
It's a solid 8.5.
Okay. That,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
sure,
a day into it, so we
Yeah.
don't know the full extent of it, but a solid 8.5 for the music is not perfect. The graphics are they're pretty good. The battle systems I think is awesome.
Yeah.
It's good, and it's showing a lot of promise. Certain if I played it more, I would really enjoy it, but I'm gonna stick with. I'm not quite sure yet because it's still got that MMO feel, and those are hard to tell how they get mid and late game.
Okay.
But it was enjoyable at the start, which is really rare for that sort of game.
My initial impressions with Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii, I'd probably give it a 10 out of 10. This particular game, I probably would give it a 9 so far.
Would you say there was too much water?
I would say there's a bit too much water.
Confirmed for Illuminati.
Yes, indeed. And the reason being is because I don't think the music was as solid. The cutscene hell
Oh my god.
kind of discouraged me at the beginning of the game. But once I got through that,
It's a
the
big speed bump.
battle system totally redeems the game. 9 out of 10 so far. Yeah.
It's really nice.
So thank you very much for watching. If you have a Wii U, big if there, go ahead and check out Bill Cosby's Fatherhood.
Yeah, that's it's got some great quotes that really haven't aged well in the last couple of years. Here he is arguing with his wife.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more H4G Game Reviews, don't forget to subscribe to see new episodes every week. And for those interested, we have just started a brand new Patreon page. Definitely check it out. We're working on some great perks and rewards for you guys. Links are in the description below.